Welcome back. This is Arnav Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is July the 1st, 2025. Yes, it is the new second half of the year. And once more, we'll talk about Indian and international football, FIFA Club World Cup, the women's team, AIFF future, and all the other things. And as always, at the start, maybe you're watching later on afterwards. Do subscribe to Arun Foot here on YouTube. If you like this video, do leave a like behind. Share with other people to potentially join us in the conversation. And yeah, as always, watch the short videos before I come to all the points that Rendell has already listed. Watch, I go back to an incident with Lalit Modi that I remember a couple of decades back, the conversations about Indian football. So let's talk about those things. Ren says, how do you see the statement of Lalit Modi? I somewhat agree with him about the bureaucracy here, but I think the product he also had in mind was something like I said, is saying there isn't any in Indian football considering the mess we're in right now. Rendell, I also will say to you what I've said to a lot of people: do watch the short videos that I actually make on different topics on a regular basis, because exactly this point is what I discuss in that video. Because I was part with a few conversations in regard to Priyanand Dasmanchi at the time. I also met later Lalit Modi in my life, in my career as well. So therefore, do watch it because. So therefore, it's a different, so yeah, and I'll take your other points. When IPL was started, India was and is an elite in cricket, where in football we're light years from being elite. I think if he had started a project, would it be successful considering the politicians and system here? Renner, again, watch the video. It's not only to you, but everybody else who wants a little bit of an insight on that topic. Do watch that video, because I think I try and get to that point. Because again, it is a story of Lalit Modi. It is also, other people will say other said, so therefore, yeah, that would be it to me. It's a lot of things would be discussed, but it wasn't in this matter, and that's, I think, something of a point here. Narendra Modi making that point on one side, but on the other side also not saying that why it actually failed. It's his perspective. I think Mr. Dasmunchi would have had a different perspective from what I know. So yeah, that's the reality. I just checked India's sports governance. From what I read and learn, is AIFF one of the best run West associations considering the level of sports governance in India. What would be your reply to people when they say AIFF is the worst in India? Like, seriously, the mess other federations are an example. Wrestling Federation, do you think AIFF is miles better compared to other sports federations? Oh, Renel, why always these kind of comparisons? I'll honestly tell you, if you'd asked me this question prior to the FIFA ban and the COA stepping in, I would have clearly told you that the AIFF is one of the best run federations in India. No doubt about it. Looking at the governance level across sports in India, right? Yeah, the AIFF actually was. At the moment, I wouldn't say that. At the moment, the AIFF is in a mess itself. But yes, there are other federations. You're naming wrestling. There could be XYZ federations mentioned, who could be named as problems within the Indian ecosystem, Indian sports system, right? So therefore, that's a challenge in itself. And at this moment in time, I think the question remains: how can you evolve, develop sports in India, and how can you develop the sporting bodies, right? And that's a challenge in itself. Hi, Goku. Hi, Kumar. Mohammed says, so, sir, do you think Manola will continue show the ball said he will continue managing national team in FC Goa. What's your take? Mohammed, as far as I know, Manolo doesn't want to continue. I think that has been clearly communicated by Manolo Marquez. And I think he also realizes that he has failed with what he's tried to do with the Indian national team. And on the other side, I think the question remains what he thinks is the right thing or the wrong thing to do. And and therefore, for me, if you ask me that question at this moment in time, we'll have to wait and see. The AIFF have a exco meeting tomorrow, and it'll be interesting, to see what really actually factually happens out there. Another Lalit Modi said he wants to collaborate with J League for that new league. Would that J League would have helped? Kumar, a lot was said 20 years ago. I don't even know if the J League really would have stepped forward or not. As I've told Renil also to you, watch my short video on my take on what happened 20 years ago. Because I was part of certain conversations at the time. They were a little different than what Lalit Modi is depicting at this moment in time. But I know for a fact that he was, as a television executive, looking at creating a professional sports league system in India. At the time, let's be honest, there was no league in cricket. All the other leagues didn't exist. The NFL in its semi-pro status was most probably the most professional in an Indian setup. So that is what it was. There was a tie-up even with the J League and the AIFF in 2005, if I'm not wrong. So that already existed while these talks were going on. Or rather the JFA and the AIFF, and there were talks of support via FIFA and all that stuff. Those also happened with exchange programs. So again, it would have been, to me, if Lalit Modi created what he said, I think it would have been an IPL, ISL style league. That was clearly what he understood. And again, look at what he created with the IPL, right? He created a beast of a league. You have to give him credit for that. But again, he comes out of cricket. He was involved with cricket in Rajasthan. He understands cricket, but he didn't understand how football works. And I know that from the conversations I had at the time with the late President Das Munshi, who was skeptical of Lalit Modi being able to deliver a football league. I think that's the point. Lalit Modi will say corruption and other things. Maybe it was a thing. Again, I can't confirm or deny that fact. But I know that the AIFF at the time, as the president, Mr. Das Munshi, was skeptical of that being possible in the way that Lalit Modi wanted to build, because the question of television rights is a point that I raised with Mr. Das Munshi, which I said is the key point in everything that we want to discuss. If you cannot have television rights as part of your whole package, nothing is actually factually possible. So that's a true fact. And therefore, for me, that's a challenge which couldn't be fulfilled 2 decades back. And again, about certain other points, as I said, and I repeat, do watch my short video on my take, about Lalit Modi and Indian football in the 2000s, because I think it does answer a lot of these questions and queries that you guys seem to have. In the last 2 decades, from your perspective, the Indian football ecosystem evolved, like infrastructure and things, etc. Well, I don't know how many times I've said it. Yes, 100%. If you looked at the infrastructure if I take 1996 as my cutoff date, or 95, 96, again, JCT spent in 95 and 96, the NFL came around, and look at it now. It has massively evolved. I think the infrastructure today is X times better, not only regarding the pitches, but it is also better for spectators. I know that still in some venues we have problems in regard to facilities for female football fans. Let's be very, very clear about that. Toilets is a topic. But I think generally it has improved. I think the VIP, the VVIP sections have also improved massively. The I-League in itself gave it a push. I think especially the ISL, and thereafter especially the Under-17 World Cup gave it a push. And even the Under-17 Women's World Cup gave it another push. And that's the main thing. I think broadcasting has gone since the ISL days to another level. Again, technology has also improved. So therefore, if I think 3 decades ago, I sometimes needed 12 hours to find out what the result of a game was because we didn't have WhatsApp. We didn't have mobile phones. So it was dependent on someone going to their desk and then sending you an email saying, hey, this match ended 1-0 or whatever. So all of these things, technology developing, all that stuff. Let's see. So therefore, for me, it is very, very important that that is looked at. Training facilities is something which has improved as well. I think generally a lot of grounds, artificial, natural, have cropped up across the country. So a lot of these things have changed in the last 3 decades. The one thing that has sadly not improved is actually the quality on the field. I think football has changed a lot. I think football today is different than it was. So let's see. Were you able to read the National Sports Policy that was approved today? What's your take about it in general and engaging diaspora players in particular? Sanjeev, I've just overflown it. I've not had the time, and therefore for me, difficult to comment. I know the diaspora players part is one thing that is being discussed. I mean, it was clear that it is going to be part of it because if India wants to bid for the Olympics, then you have to include diaspora players in sports. I said in football, it is a little bit more complicated than others. In others, even with a foreign passport, you can represent India. So therefore, yeah, it's good. It's good. And therefore, let's see. National sports, it has some ups and downs, and let's see where we're going to take it. Another new sports bill passed in the cabinet 2025. It will be put on the floor of the parliament first in the bill. The bill will introduce in sports tribunal for solving sports cases. Yes, it's a sports tribunal. That is a key because that was something that the IOC said to the AIFF very, very clearly. To the IOA, that this needs to be part of it. And India today had a delegation visiting the International Olympic Committee in Lausanne and presenting India and Gujarat's case to host the Olympics in 2036. But I think if I see what's happening around the world with potential bids, and I see this very closely here in Germany, because I know the people who are pushing for Germany's bid come actually from my city here. So therefore, I think India needs to also recognize that they are not the only country to bid. And this is something which I think, so it's good, the tribunal part, and I hope it will solve the things. But again, if it doesn't have the right judges and the right justices sitting on those tribunals, so that's going to be the question. Shobhita Paul said Manolo is still the coach of the Indian football men's team. Yeah, Pona, she is, right? The AIFF is going to meet tomorrow, and I think then the EXCO either will be given an info what's the status, or the EXCO will be asked to decide on the matter. But at this moment of time, as I speak, and it is just past 10 p.m. India time, Manolo Marquez is the head coach of the Indian football team, right? Even though Manolo has clearly stated now 2.5 months ago that he wants to leave. So that's the reality. Yes, Kumar, I'm seeing your comments have answered. So a funny comment on Reddit, Rodrigo to India. Here we go. Yeah. Namaskar, namaste, Jayant. How are you? I'm good, Hypermaster H23. Just reading a little under the heat here in Germany. It's at the moment saying 34 degrees. You might say, not that much. But again, we don't have AC systems. We don't have fans over here. And the heat, sun radiation is quite direct. It burned my arm a little bit when I was outside. So yeah, that's the reality of things over here. Does FIFA allow non-passport holders to play for the country if FIFA can prove origin? No, Hannibal. FIFA has become more strict on this. You have to hold the passport of a country, but the question is, and I've said it now multiple times. Can we make an OCI sports, which specifically addresses the topic of OCI athletes representing us in sports, specifically, let's say in football. There are other sports as well, so therefore that will be very, very interesting. Or now, do you think India can pull off the Olympic bid by PM or anything inside lobbying if it happens? Kumar, I think if I'm looking at countries who are wanting to bid, right, and I honestly don't know, because it is the IOC which decides, right? If you're looking, India needs to build everything. Let's see, I look at our local bid here in Germany from the state of NRW, which says that they want to bid. Munich wants to bid. Berlin wants to bid. Hamburg wants to bid, right? We're doing an internal bidding process in Germany, first of all, to find the best. But if I say NRW state, not a city, most of the infrastructure is available, so you will, even for example, the arena of Schalke, the football stadium, would be turned into a giant swimming pool for the Olympics, right? So it would boost the infrastructure in this part of the world. So the question also is, with history on Germany's side, in regard to a different Germany in 2036 than in 1936, do these kind of things play a factor in it? So therefore, again, India has to, I think it's a mistake to focus only on one Olympics, because Germany, for example, is saying very, very clearly, we'll bid for 2036, we'll bid for 2040 and 2044. So these are things I think that India needs to, inside lobbying will be needed. But does India have a lobby at all? Would be my first question. Is India a big player in the IOC, in the international Olympic movement? And I think we all know the answer, sadly, which would be a big no, right? So therefore, this is something where a lot of lobby work, a lot of background work would need to be done for India to potentially stand a chance. Hi, methamphetamine. I'm good. As I said a little earlier, this heat is taking its toll on me, and but otherwise doing fine. Following women's team and methamphetamine, I think we've done well so far. Let's, as I've said in my 2 videos that I've done on this topic so far, I think it is very, 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 very important that we won the games in the way we did, So yeah. So therefore, for me, I expect us to beat Iraq tomorrow, and then we have a final against Thailand on the 5th. I hope we go into that game with a better goal difference, which gives us an advantage if the match ends in a draw. But otherwise, I think it's all to play for between these 2 teams, between these 2 nations. And yeah, I'm hoping for the best. I don't know what's going to come, but I'm hoping that something will come positive for us. Even Pep Mourinho came and coached together, they would not be able to make any difference in the current national team. Moving on towards the first step to solve a problem is to admit that is a problem. Pradeep, I know fans love to pick up these kind of statements, and I got these statements, I don't know from how many people send it forward to me. Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, Ivan Vukovanovic, we don't know what steps Pep or Mourinho would take. Are they even national team coaches to me? No, they're club coaches to me, right? So therefore, for me, the question then arises is, would they be the right coaches? I don't know. I think Ivan Vukovanovic, I would have liked him to introspect with it. What did he achieve in 3 years with the Kerala Blasters? He didn't win a trophy at the end of the day. So therefore, isn't that what the Kerala Blasters fans want? And he walked off the field. A no-go. I've said this in the last 2 years, X number of times. Ivan Vukovanovic did something which is, in my opinion, a no-go. Yeah, let's see. Right. Is it true that the last press conference at AIFF arranged, someone was asking everyone else that this, not for the long term, asked Corner to arrange border Oscar trophy? Yeah. It seems like it was a set-up press conference. Yes, it looks like it. Can we negotiate with FIFA to allow if also card holders to play? No, Hannibal, we can't. I mean, who are we as India? Sorry, India in the last 3 years has lost all its bargaining power with FIFA. You know, so yeah. Do you think India needs more AFC licensed Indian coaches in the system, especially in youth? General, they are licensed. There is no difference between an AIFF and AFC license. It's just that the AFC license is of a higher category. With an AIFF E, D, and C, you should be good enough to coach at that level, right? B, A, and Pro is intended actually for senior level football. Sorry. Good evening, Garen Rare. What's your take on Brazilian club performance, especially for Messi beating Inter and Al Hilal beating Man City? Kumar, the Brazilians have done well, but yeah, Inter has not had a good tournament. Let's be very clear. It's not Inter as we've seen in the Champions League. So Fluminense beating them. It's not the first win. It's the second loss. Was the second loss for Inter, and they're out of the competition. Al Hilal beating Man City. I don't know how many times I've said over the last year and a half, that to me, clubs like Al Hilal are not really AFC Champions League material, right? To me, in Al Hilal, is more of an European Champions League team, and they showcased that. They were very smart. I mean, City had more of the ball, City had more of the chances, but the counterattacks were on point. And that made the difference, and that is the quality of Al Hilal. So therefore, that is that, and and therefore, it's going to be interesting to see how far Fluminense can now go, because they've reached a very interesting stage of the competition, and what's going to happen in the coming days and weeks. So therefore, for me, it's going to be. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just quickly go through the fixtures. If I see Real Madrid Juventus tonight, and then of course we have Dortmund versus Monterrey tonight as well, or tomorrow morning. And then in the quarters, Fluminense versus Al Hilal. So one of those will be in the semis. Palmeiras versus Chelsea. Going to be interesting. And then most probably the pick of the matches, Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. So a lot of interesting matches coming up. And yeah, let's wait and see what happens in the FIFA Club World Cup. But yes, the Brazilians have done well for themselves and for Brazilian football. But the question is, as we have also in the FIFA Club World Cup, in the FIFA World Cup, who's going to be there in the final 8 and the final 4? Will it be a Champions League in the final 4? Which it can't be, because Fluminense or Al Hilal will be there. But will an European team win in the end? So the victory for Al Hilal is a big one, because City was looking, as I would have said, one of the prime candidates to maybe win this tournament. And now it's going to be interesting to see how what happens. Thoughts on diaspora thing mentioned National Sports Policy 2025. That's very good. Very, very good. Right? So therefore, for me, it's the need of the hour. Do you think we are ready as a nation to host a big sporting event like Olympics, and as hosting nations to lose too much money? Well, yes, India as a nation can host it. From a sporting perspective, I think we're not ready to host an Olympics in 2036. If I'm looking that we are now today in 2025, exactly in the middle of 2025, the second half of the year starts today. We've got a little over 11 years to go for the Olympics. What are we doing? Right? The sports policy is nice to do. Again, India is in a lot of things very theoretical, but what is the practical point? And to me, yes, a lot of actually all countries lose money on the Olympics. But what is the after effect? I mean, I look at a city like Barcelona, right? Barcelona as a city developed itself after the 92 Olympics. Athens develops itself. Other cities have developed themselves because of the Olympics. So therefore that helps, right? So therefore, that's the value. But for me, from a sporting perspective, I think if India took another decade and said, listen, India celebrate 100 years of independence in 2047. Let's go try and host 2048. I think that would be the right thing, and say, listen, we do a 20+ year plan of sporting development, grassroots, youth development. Maybe that would be the same things we talk about Indian football, I think, is needed in Olympic sports as well in India. What do you have to say about National Sports Policy Group of the Indian government today? It talks about engaging in through sports. It talks about Japanese sports. Except that I just said it's the right thing to do. And it was clear that this would be mentioned. The question is, what is the government about mentioning it? Again, mentioning this is good, very good. But what are they going to do with this? That is the question. Are they willing to amend the Citizenship Act to do it? You know? Maybe you can convince Thorsten Leger to take over India like at Remscheid, jokes aside. Maybe someone like Gernot Rohr with his experience African take over. Russian, Gernot Rohr, I would not mind Gernot Rohr coming to India. Very, very true. Greatly accomplished coach. But, so, yeah. But the question is, what are they going to do? Is any meeting happening from there? No, here and there is there's an EXCO meeting tomorrow. I was wondering these days that with initiatives like Club World Cup, it seems football market can now venture into an investment completely separate from their country. Are India's corporates looking? Methamphetamine, that's been happening for the last 3 decades across, Achha, sorry, you've got more points. Sorry, let me read it again. Sorry, guys. I was wondering these days that with initiatives like Club World Cup, it seems football market can now venture into an investment completely separate of their country. Are Indian corporates looking, aware of the potential developing clubs and putting mark on continental and global levels now that there is no problem with fielding local players as possible to succeed internationally? PS keeping aside the league crisis right now. No, because methamphetamine, if you look at it, how much of Indian investment, forget football, how much of Indian investment do we have in international sports? We have the biggest Indian corporates having invested in the IPL, and even non-Indian IPL linked franchises, so therefore, yeah, that's what it is. So to me, I don't see Indian corporates, and those who've gone out hasn't worked for them, right? So yeah, we need that type of coach. Those have international experience know identify India and make gold. Yeah, hypermaster, easier said than done. Best thing government can do is to include diaspora is to fasten the citizen acquiring process and letting sports people to acquire without staying in India. Yeah, that's the start. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Good, Yuvraj. Welcome back to the channel. Again, sad to see India no FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah, but Hypermaster, we are. I mean, I did a video a few days ago, 4 days ago, dream of Indian football, an Indian club being at the FIFA Club World Cup, but, it's so far away, looks very, very unlikely. Thoughts on BFC's 2 new signings? Good. I mean, Ashik Kurunian looks very good. Did I miss, who was the other one? Did I miss something? Again, I'm not, honestly, even though people are telling me about transfers and stuff, I'm actually not following the transfer market properly because I don't even know where the league is going to happen. Does the diaspora mean Ocean? Hopefully, yes, it does, methamphetamine. How much do you agree to Pep and Klopp lashing out a Club World Cup? I mean, I support them giving the players arguments over no matter how much they're paid and contract. Yuvraj, there are 2 sides to the story. Understand it from a coach's perspective or coaching perspective. So to me, Jurgen Klopp was very, very clear about it. But my counter question was, and I said this when the whole, European Super League discussion was ongoing. Why don't the Premier League, why don't the all other leagues say, okay, you know what, we're going to cut down to 16 teams. Have a 30-match season. I think the question is, this FIFA Club World Cup is important. For the European clubs, it's a headache, right? But for the clubs elsewhere, it's an opportunity, right? Asian clubs, North American clubs, South American clubs, African clubs, Auckland City from Oceania. So therefore, there are 2 sides of the story. But the question is, I think it will take another maybe 2 editions to establish himself. But I think the FIFA Club World Cup will establish himself as a competition next to the FIFA World Cup. So I think it is going to be. And yeah, and squads are growing. I think squads will grow to 30% because football has become much more fast-paced, much more physical in the last 10, 15 years. So therefore, yeah, let's see where it goes. Right, more than 30 minutes already on this live on this 1st of July, on this Tuesday evening. Like, share, and subscribe. 12 likes so far. I think we can do better. Share it with other people so they can join in. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, do that as well. We're at 2,730 at the moment. Thank you very much, everybody. Do join in, so therefore, yeah, thanks as always for your support. Good evening, Simon. Welcome back. Anji, do you know Ajay Dajij, a prominent person of the Afghanistan cricket team? No, I actually don't follow cricket, so no, I don't actually. No. Exactly, I was saying that they have only mentioned us for an SP 2095. What will they do? Or just no say. XYZ, they have to prove it, no? That's why once they do it, as I've said, I have not changed anything what I've been saying for the last not years, decades. So let's see. Nishtima and Bashir from 4th Division, Women's Division, Ober Turkheim is part of Iraq's squad. Yeah, Roshan, they're also playing again, but Iraq to me look a weaker side in general. I think we saw the other afternoon, the impact of Manisha Kalyan, and so let's see. And I think normally we should be beating Iraq comfortably. What do you have to say about Angkor Tigers, the Indian owners, and now getting sponsors? I honestly don't care. It's great for them. It's Rohit Ramesh and his partners. Great for them, but yeah, what they do, what they don't do. He could have done certain things with Chennai City FC, which he didn't do, and then pushed off. So therefore, I don't care. Can we agree that Asian club football is evolving if an Alilna used mostly established foreign players to feed the city would have under complement if the Muslim pool stepped up? Simon, it's always a discussion, right? Which you have. I mean, even Man City is not a domestic talent, English talent-based team, right? It is some of the best players from the world. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the last World Cup. These comparisons are always very tough. I think at the end of the day, we're going to talk about who's going to win it. And at that, can one of the Brazilian teams really bother the Europeans at the end of the day? Argentina, Brian Sanchez, and Moroccan defender Salah in Bahrain, Jambesi for Marcus. Here and there, I don't even know if these are confirmed transfers because does the transfer market exist? Are the teams getting together? I'm asking a very fundamental question, right? Hello, sir, says Chetan. One out of topic question. Who do you think was better player between Ronaldinho and Kaká? Chetan, two different players in my opinion. Ronaldinho was more of a flair player. I think Kaká was more, also a quality player, but more pragmatic. As a fan, I think everyone would love to watch Ronaldinho, but if you look on the other side, how many trophies Kaká has won, I always like the concept of a Club World Cup, but it needs to be organized better. I don't think it needs to be organized better. I think the Club World Cup is right. The question is, it raises a lot of question with the United States and the weather and the pitches as well. So therefore, so therefore, yeah. What's your take on Rummenigge's stake? He's told players, agents are also to blame for overboarding calendar who keep demanding more money can only be satisfied by more and more matches. Yeah, but here's the point. Same problem in India. But we've seen in India, we've seen elsewhere as well. Again, I remember during COVID, people were saying, oh, you know what, we have to cut down on demands and all that stuff. Has anything of that sort happened? So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Football won't be considered as medal-winning game for Indian Olympics. Kumar, that doesn't change, right? I think if the AIFF was doing its job, they would make the government understand the importance of football as a global sport. And football will be part of the Olympics. Do you want to play the Olympic tournament? If India is hosting Olympics, football will be part of it. Do you want India to lose 7, 8, 10 nil? I don't think so. Government serious about hosting Olympics? Man, it is a PR show at the moment. They would have to follow it up with action and work. That's my concern. If we like it or not, Club World Cup will continue. Only way is to have bigger squad and rotate players. Exactly, Neil. I think that's the point. And I think that's in general with football becoming more physical, at least at the top level in Europe, that you have now not 25, but rather 30 players in the squad. Now they've mentioned, but look at how they framed it, whereas feasible, maybe by encouraging to come back. These don't seem to be encouraging words, and intention don't seem to. XYZ, as I said, action. I don't care about the wording. The wording can be friendly, can be hostile, can be whatever. Not taking it. Difference between Al Nasser and Al Hilal, sir. My take, Hilal pursued the dream to dominate Saudi, utilizing the open floodgates of between Europeans, but Nasser more of chase PR and all around CR7. Yeah. I mean, also remember, Al Hilal is the biggest Saudi football team. Right? They are the biggest Saudi football team, period. It is not Al Nasser. Al Nasser brought in Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, spending a lot of money, and of course got their PR, global PR. But Al Nasser continued to win tournaments, won the Asian Champions League and all that stuff. So therefore, two different roads. And we see Al Hilal also has big names. We saw Al Hilal also against Mumbai City in the Champions League. Yeah, different level. Manisha Kannan looks like a proper player out of women national team or men's team. Yeah, playing in Europe makes a difference. I mean, Manisha is playing in Greece, right? She's not playing in one of the big European leagues, but still, Greek football is X times better than any Indian football in the men's and women's game, and she's playing in the top division. Well, now we were able to score 5+ goals against Iraq because we have a 6 goal difference with Thai. We would want to have a big goal difference ready to score if Thai was more valuable before we play them. Yeah, I mean, we have an advantage, but it's very interesting to see how many goals we score and how many goals Thailand score. So, yeah. Ajay Jadeja level up Afghan cricket team and he's an Indian. My question is, why Indian coach in football not become like Ajay Jadeja to handle national clubs, national teams? Hypermaster, because how many nations play cricket? I mean, my first question would be that how many nations play cricket and how is cricket structured? It's totally different than football, right? So therefore, for me, the comparisons don't work. If you want to compare football with cricket, don't do that. You know, it just doesn't work for me because football is much more difficult, much more complex, and our coaches are not of the level of that, right? Bold from Northeast United present the preseason plans knowing them not be any. So if things go wrong. What's bold about it, Sam? They've presented a plan. They don't need to follow it themselves, right? I mean, and this plan was not done last week. This plan was done in the 6 months up to, or not 6 months, maybe 5 months up to the end of May. Any OCI PI update? No, Rushwa, nothing. Say not a question, but a fun activity. Create a playing 11 of the players you rate from Card River, Busan, Real Madrid, match 5 players. One club only permitted. Oh. You know, you're mentioning 3 clubs which, you know, which I don't follow really that much, you know. So, yeah. And I don't care about these 3 clubs, to be honest. Oops. Does IPL still affect the ISL's duration due to broadcasting overlaps? No, it doesn't. Because the ISL now overlaps, right? The ISL is ending in April. And the IPL is longer, right? It starts in March, ends in end May, early June. So it overlaps. This government garden lights PR stunts says, man. Okay, did you watch I-League 24 season? How could I watched a few games? Not all, not many, but I did watch a few games, yes. Or highlights at least. So can you say was technically right in saying that the Saudi League is a top 5 league? No, it's not. I mean, no. Hello, sir, says Lou. What do you think about the recent NSP about OCIs? They said they are considering, but no clarity how they will. Lou, it opens the door at least for OCIs. Let's put it this way, right? I will not go overboard, but it's there. So that's good. Let's hope they take the next step. That's my hope, wish. but I'm not sure that things will happen. So therefore, that's going to be the, yeah. So they think same as so many European football pundits that Messi is struggling at the moment. Again, rare. Look at his age, right? I mean, we have to be honest to ourselves that Lionel Messi is like Cristiano Ronaldo in moving towards his end of his career, and it depends also on the quality of his, so yeah, he's fading. And listen, even 2.5 years ago when he won the World Cup, he needed the players around him. Yeah. So let's see. Hi, Rushabh, welcome back. So do you think the government takes sports as priority field like infra, security, roads, etc., especially football? Do they actually care and want to see in World Cup or just formality? Chetan, I think sports for them, yes, is a bigger priority than it has been in the past. But is football a priority for them? I honestly do not know. If you ask me that question, I do not know. I'll be very honest to you. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We have terrible PR if you publicize Ali Fiasco Netflix. They don't pay hundreds of crores to have seasons on their platform. Yeah, but yeah, could be something to consider. Huh? What if India swapped Brazil to have 5 FIFA World Cup? Sorry, Hampamaster, don't. Could you rephrase that question? At least Kalyan Chavishu presented an IIFF through no expectations. He is the IOA. You know that, right, Blue? He is Joint Secretary of the Indian Olympic Association. Kalyan Chobe doesn't need to present it to anyone. You know? I mean, without dual citizenship being recognized by constitutional amendments, how are we going to allow OCIs very fast? Ideal OCI should be used as a second citizen, but it isn't realistic. Rushabh, I don't know. We're talking about a lot of these things. The government understands that if it wants to host the Olympics, it will have to make changes at a number of fronts. And the question is, what are they going to do? And that's the challenge on the IOA, right? The IOA needs to come forward and say, these are the things that we can see what we need to do and how we take this forward. Very simply, And to me, there's a big question on all of this, right? So there's a big question mark on all of that. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Be it in club level or national team, why we don't give chance to 17, 19-year-old guys who always consider almost around 50 guys, do you know, better than a football prime is around 18 to 25. Iswajit, the prime is not 18 to 25. Who's telling you that? And tell me a 17, 18, 19-year-old who should be playing in the national team or at club level, right? If you have an Abhishek Hector who's good, he's going to be given a chance. But how many Abhishek Sectums, So let's see. Thoughts on Ivan Vukoman's comments on the dwindling state of Indian football? Simon, I don't care. There are a lot of people who've been in Indian football, who've been there. You guys bother about these things, right? I don't care. Let him make his comments. Let other people make their comments. Look at the substance of that comment, right? You are giving these people oxygen to remain relevant, right? As with Mr. Steemach and other people, or XYZ, don't bother. Let them say what they want to say. It is, in my opinion, it's of no relevance. I'm giving reference of Al Jazeera's European Asian coaches in India. Hypermaster, you're comparing cricket to football. How many countries play cricket? You can't. That comparison doesn't work. Good evening, Dada. Any update on national team means coach? No, Amal, AIFF has tomorrow an exco meeting, and thereafter we might be a little wiser on what the AIFF would decide. Let's wait and see. Apply any wage salary cap according to FIFA rank and see these money merchants running for life playing for national team maximum 1.5 crore. I don't know if that's your answer. I don't know if that's going to work. Ivan's statement seems like he's frustrated with Indian football. Who wouldn't be? Expecting Kalyan Chobe to do something constructive next. What's expecting Pakistan to train economy in 2 years? Let's see, Yuvraj. Even Joe Morrison got a LinkedIn job application from the AIFF. How wonderful. Okay. Oh, then what is he doing? And I just come up once in a while, calling someone else. Same for everyone when it comes up for PR and gender against Baichun. Blue, isn't it what we've been speaking about in the last 3 years? You know, what has he done? So, yeah. How much is both of the sorry. Neil asks, how much is Sports Authority of India side responsible for Indian football condition? Neil, I think you should widen it and ask the condition of Indian sports. I think the Sports Authority of India is a failed institution. Simple. Hey, Ochut, another kilo campaign by AIFF. Yes, saw what you sent me. 1 second. What was it? Let me just pick that one out from you. An AIFF tweet, Khelo Bharat Niti kicks off a new era of Indian football with robust governance, infrastructure, and youth development. A stronger ecosystem means better clubs, fitter players, and global dreams. I'm fed up with these so-called pseudo-Indian names that the government comes up with in sports. Call it what it is. I don't need a Hindi fancy something. Call it what it is. That the people don't even understand. It's not just within India, but even outside India, people want to know what you're doing. And then if you're giving it some weird Indian name, I think nobody will understand. Is it a good idea to allow 11 foreigners to play in ISL? No. Bhaskar, what is your intention of playing 11 foreigners? Right? If you're going to get 11 foreigners in, I don't know how many Indians will play in the whole league. Right? Yeah. I think the 4 foreigners, 7 Indians rule is the best one, and therefore, yeah, I think we should stick to it. Well, the whole of Indian football is a lost cause at this point. If there's hope, who's going to ignite the fire to it? Simon, there is still life in Indian football. It's not dead. It's struggling. Let's say it's struggling is putting it nicely, but Indian football is not on the dead bed, in my opinion. But the question is, how can we reignite it? I think there are still people who are fighting for the right thing, right cause in regard to Indian football. But it's not an easy one. So therefore, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Right. So therefore, for me, it's not easy, but we can still achieve something. Or can you please explain the latest IFTWC tweet based on diaspora objective sports policy? I didn't get what exactly it meant. It says that the government wants to keep the door open and look at options maybe in the future to integrate OCI's, PIOs into Indian sports, and therefore, yeah, but it doesn't say anything concrete. It is government policy, so I don't know. Now, what's your gut feeling about ISL will happen or not? Neil, I've given up. I have given up on making a judgment if something in an Indian football context, if it's going to happen or not. Right? To me, if you ask me today, I would say 60-40 not happening. Right? Crispin Chit is doing good with women's team, so we can see Indian coach in men's near future. No, Amal, I don't want an Indian coach. And Crispin Chetri, as much as I'm happy for Crispin and good to see the results, beating Iraq is also not going to be my deciding factor. The deciding factor is Thailand. If we are going to make it to the Asian Cup, I don't even care if it's a draw, if we've got a better goal difference. So, I don't know. So therefore, I don't know why you guys are getting carried away by these results. Mongolia, not a football team. What's the highlights of Bangladesh was Bahrain women's Asian Cup qualifiers. Bangladesh winning 7-0, and the way they are playing, very, very improved. And I think all domestic players, India in for tough times. Ocho, they've been a tough times. Huh? Bangladesh has been beating us on a regular basis in the women's game. I don't know if people realize that. Right? That's the most normal thing that has happened. Right, more than 50 minutes. Once more reminder, if you're liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, do leave a like behind. 24 likes, wow, okay. Last time it worked, so maybe we can get some more. Thanks a lot. And share it with other people as well if you think they should be listening to what we are talking about here on this channel. Trying to grow the community, as I always like to say. 2,731 subscribers, thank you very much. And I need your help, guys, to grow. Without you, that will not be possible. And watch the short videos. Been trying to do something on a daily basis. Do watch it. Do give it a watch. I need your support. That the algorithm pushes me a little higher in the system on YouTube. Again, I did something on Lalit Modi and the thing in regard to Dev Sports. Talk about what happened 20 years, 19 years ago. Do watch that. Again, I think insights which you will not get on any other platform and on any other channel. So the new policy is out. Wars have ended. FIFA World Cup is about to end. FIFA Club World Cup is about to end. Teams are splashing units in transfer window, but where on earth is Kalyan Chaube? Striker Banao, crash course, Yojana. Yuvraj, I think he discussed it with Arsene Wenger in Miami. So we'll have to just wait and see when it starts. When we'll get the draw for U17 Asian Cup. Not sure, Bhaskar, when, what the date. It should be should be this month, if I'm not wrong. Should we consider an all-Indian I-League and focusing on commercializing AIFF, though it is difficult as the national team performs rather focused? Simon, I'm not a fan of an all-Indian I-League. I think I-League 2 is a good example. It has not raised the standards. So therefore, I don't know if it's really the best option. I think from league to league, we need to have less foreigners. I would say, let's have 4 foreigners in the ISL, have 3 foreigners in the I-League, and maybe even 2 foreigners in I-League 2. When we get news about MRA, ISL, anything like coach, etc., at least I-League winner. Blue, MRA, ISL depends on the Supreme Court. So therefore, that is on them. The Supreme Court needs to help us to figure out when things are happening. Not sure when that decision is out. Supposedly, 14th, the Supreme Court, in a couple of weeks, the Supreme Court gets together. So therefore, let's wait and see. Coach, maybe tomorrow, the AIFF Expos meeting. And on I-League winner, it depends on CAS, right? If CAS gives a judgment in favor of Inter-Kashi, then Inter-Kashi are champions. So any one of those things, pick yours, which could come first. I don't really know. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are speculating, saying, this is going to happen. Yeah, Oga, this, that. If I don't know, I don't know. And I've given up of giving you a date or something because I think nobody knows. If anybody says he knows, he's lying. Sorry to say that. So if the sports ball is independently made by government, then the Indian diaspora thing can be little hopeful. Chetan, what is independently made by the government? The government has made this with inputs from certain people. Yeah. Guten Abend, Zoravar. Good evening. Welcome back. Yes, we've been speaking a lot about the national sports policy. This a few hours back. What's engaging with the investment through sports as objective? Yeah, what is engaging? Right? That's to me, they could theoretically engage with me. Yeah. So does it have to be with athletes? Can it be with coaches, administrators? I don't know. If you like it or not, Bangladesh is doing way better in men's and women's football. We need to appreciate and be humble and but a lot of people won't, no? If anyone has noticed, but Nepal and Bangladesh youth women's team is complete ape. They just got lucky with the current generation with Ritu Chakma and Suvitra Mother. I don't think they're lucky, Hannibal. They have had players. They've worked on it. And yeah. Lalit Modi's interview, I saw your video, his last statement, nothing will happen in your football, maybe kabaddi. Ochut, I think that's his dig at football and the football system. You saw my video, so you know what I said, what Mr. Dashmunshi said at the time, what Priyoda said at the time. So therefore, for me, his side of things, if President Dashmunshi was alive, I think he would tell a different story. So yeah. Hi Ishan, Al Hilal beat Man City. Is it something worth celebrating, or do you think we're overhyping the achievement? Ishan, it's a big thing. Surely it's a big thing. Is it being overhyped? I don't know, because here no one's talking about it. In Europe, the Club World Cup, is not getting that much of coverage, and yeah, that's also a reality. I think it needs to get into the mindset of a lot of people to be growing to a certain level. Indian football season 2025 seems as empty as the present state of Chernobyl, missing good old days. Yeah, Simon, yeah, normally this time of the year we're talking about transfers, right? We're not, Shanmata says, very happy seeing an Asian Cup defeating Premier League team showcase rise of Asian football. Really happy for our continent, but angry that Saudi is targeting to become top 5 league and we're in politics. Shanmata, as I just said, it's good that they did, but I wouldn't overestimate it. Saudi is not going to be a top 5 league. I mean, in the near future. Sorry, it's not going to happen, right? So, no. Did the government consult you for the sports bus? If they didn't, they should have. Ishan, I spoke to certain people in the government who were part of this document, so maybe the one other point on the diaspora stuff is from myself, but not that. No, I wasn't directly consulted. Recently, I'm having a conversation with the coach. One guy asked him if India has any future in football or not. The coach said it wouldn't. Well, at least for 10, 20 years, nothing's going to happen. Rishabh, the problem is the coaches themselves put Indian football down. Huh? So you don't need the foreigners or other people to do that for you, right? With the foreigner, it's an assessment. Indian coaches should be saying, you know what, we should be doing better than that. The only thing clinging us to the sport is the regular gossips and discussions we have as fans and content creators. Yes, I mean, at some stage, I find it difficult to talk about the same thing again and again and again with nothing happening. So, yeah. When will I-League champions declare? Raj, it depends on CAS, right? If CAS gives another verdict in favor of Interkashi, then Interkashi are champions. So the AIFF would have to then name Interkashi as champions. Hopefully, we finally see some positives on July 5th and women's team hopefully qualify for Asian Cup. Need it tomorrow. Again, AIFF time pass meeting with Snack is happening. I don't think it's a time pass meeting, Shanlata. I think it's, let's see if some kind of fireworks happen, but it's not a chai and samosa meeting. And yeah, the women need to first beat Iraq. Let's not get carried away. I think both Thailand and India need to win their matches and then all to play for on the 5th. I think we might be completely wrong. Maybe the government means engaging us more in the sense that maybe they will feel connected to the country for our sporting achievements. No, it's not that, Ishan. It's all about money in FIFA Club World Cup. Zoravar, anyone who says it is only about money in the FIFA Club World Cup, it is all about the money in the top leagues in Europe, around the world, in the ISL, in the I-League, in the I-League 2, 3, CFL. It's all about money. So this money point to me makes no sense at all to raise that topic, right? Then you have started taking lessons from Kalyan Chaubey. Now Wenger has found a legend greater than him. Kalyan Chaubey offers a point of view about Indian football no one else has ever thought of and would have ever think of. Okay. I'm liking this Club World Cup. I think it will grow on fans at large, just like UEFA Nations League. I think so as well. Give it another 1-2 editions. Even if 20-30% of the Lakshya plan was put in place, we would have at least been competitive in the youth levels and beating our South Asian neighbors with comfort. Simon, that's what I've been saying. Yes, very, very important point that you raise. And I totally agree with you on that, that is not happening. Right? We should have focused on Lakshya in 2012. But again, in 2013 already, the AIFF people were saying, we won't be able to implement this. Why has there been a change in the AFC rule regarding minimum number of league games for a country 27 to 24? I think Ishan, there are countries where you have 10-team or 12-team leagues, and they're trying to help those leagues to comply with AFC regulations. In the past, people said even India, a 13-team league actually is 24 matches, so we actually comply, even though we need to have a club cup competition. But that's the approach of the AFC. The sports policy just a damn time pass thing. History has seen big policies coming by corrupted ministers and no proper implementation. Same story most likely will continue. Chanlata, you could be right, but I don't really know, or you can't know what is going to happen next. Did you listen to Nawab's interview on SSCN? With all due respect of his contribution to grassroots, he too is stuck in that Maidan philosophy of holier than thou. Actually, I didn't, but what is his contribution to grassroots? Has Nawab Bhattacharya really produced any Asian level player ever? Sorry. Any one of those guys talking about grassroots has never produced a player. And Steve Herbert also has been around now for a while. So what is he producing? I don't know. You think Bayern is not as strong as it used to be during Ribery, Robin Gomez days? No, I think this team is good. If they make one or two signings here and there, I think Bayern Munich will be a good competitive side next season. Have found coaches approach you regarding possible work as Indian national team coach? Yes, Ishan, I've got a few calls, WhatsApps, and other messages. I think it's a negative campaign going on regarding attendance at Club World Cup. Several of my friends and relatives have gone to those different venues and stadia are almost full. Which would, again, I think the US is suffering from a negative PR campaign, I think, from global football. This is my perspective. We're talking about the stadiums not being full. We're talking about the weather. We're talking about the grass, the grounds, the heat. We're talking about more show than sports. Again, this is America. So I think the world needs to adjust to that. And that's why, I think especially the Europeans are having a tough time with that. Sorry. Actually, sir, when we say grassroots, think improve league, everything will be okay. We need to understand from grassroots to even a newspaper and from top 10 strategic overall. You've got 100%. So for us, need to be honest and realistic where we stand at this moment in time. We need to build at both ends, at the top and at the bottom. Bangladesh reportedly going to play friendlies with any European team. Meanwhile, India is very happy defeating Maldives. Congrats, Bangladesh has gone far beyond us. Shamlata, they've got money coming in through Hamza Chaudhry, which we don't have. So therefore, if we don't have that money, no one's going to play us. This country would never find itself in the same brackets as that of China or the US if the Jugaad and Bow mentality doesn't change for good at all levels. Forget sports. Yeah, so 100%. I mean, India says, oh, we've bypassed or are going to bypass Japan on GDP. There's no comparison between Japan and India. Sorry. I believe agents would track developments regarding this AIFF meeting related to national coach. Hope we get a good coach with national experience, not necessarily Indian or Asian football. Ishan, Kolkata rumors this evening say Sanjay Sen could be the one. So I have no clue what's going to happen. And Simon says, and if you keep on appreciating being the fourth largest economy and the lives of the people in the country is cheap. Yeah, Simon, exactly my point. As Brian missed it on words, who are the other options club looking at? Neil, they're not looking at any other number 10. They're more looking at a second striker and a left winger. Nico Williams is the top candidate. Barcola, Rafael Leao, others. And they're looking at Nick Voldemar, who played brilliantly. For me, sorry, Harvey Elliott, but Nick Voldemar was the player of the tournament. So, yeah, those are the players they're looking at. Chelsea evolving again with new young players. Delap signing is such great from Ipswich Town, I feel. Again, rare. Let's see. I mean, it looks like a former Manchester City reserve team that's on the field. Let's see what next season they're capable of doing. AIFF going to make a decision on 1 or 2 more, right? Push-up, supposedly. But you never know with the AIFF. Do you think Abhishek Thekcham's move to Monwangan will be effective for both sides? Methamphetamine did a video, as I always say, 3 days back on that topic, where I raise the points that I feel that have to be raised on that transfer. It's financially makes sense. But the question is, does it make sense from a football perspective for the player? And so therefore for me, for that price, he's way overpaid, way overpaid. With Shubhashish and Ashish Rai ahead of him, will be interesting to see if he gets game time. Inter Milan losing doesn't help either, right? It doesn't matter, does it, Ishan? Inter Miami getting to the knockout stages is already a huge success. What do you think? Can Al go to semis or finals or come matches? Yes. To me, Al Hilal are a European team. They're not a Saudi team in that way, right? With those players that they have, it is. And what should add in this EAT thing, the same was said 30 years ago during 94 World Cup, FIFA World Cup. Every stakeholder knows how hot is in those and it's really enormous. Yep. But it is, it is something for the Europeans, what's even National Sports Policy 2025? Nazari, nice to have on paper. Let's see what they implement. In India, we have a lot of policies, ideas, this, that, whatever. It needs to be implemented. If the implementation part to me is the most important part, and that will have to be proven. Kane's 2 goals in the recent game shows what it means to be truly world class. He barely had a second to make his decision with the second goal. He didn't even look at goal. Knew it by intuition. Yeah, sure. But that's why Bayern bought him in. 100%. Even BJP isn't happy with Kalyan Chawla according to sources. However, this is not new news. This has been said now. I've been hearing this now for 3-4 months. Right? So this isn't new. They've known now for a while that it was not the best decision to put Kalyan Chawla into the AIFF and in the IOA. But they did. Danny Barth signs for Derby County. Yep, leaving Blackburn Rovers. Hannibal, interesting signing. Our government is extremely giving ministry positions to its family members and to tax money, and that's why India and the country coming years. Let's see, Shanlata. Bayern missed out on words actually snubbed them off about the getting rejected Bayern for Chelsea. Yuvraj, can be seen this way, it can be seen that way. Wirtz certainly had the option of signing for Bayern, signing for Real Madrid, and decided to go to Liverpool. And Gittins was done with Chelsea, but Bayern tried in the last minute, couldn't get him. Lea would be great at Bayern. What's Sheshko? I didn't see anything special. He's a good striker for his age. Great finishing, great technique, great skills. Neil, we'll have to wait and see. Times are tough for French football. They soon have a league with the fallen giants like the Bundesliga too. So yeah, could be. But again, I don't think the Lyon thing is done yet. So let's wait. Let's see. Somebody missing out due to injury tomorrow. Yeah. Some are missing. Yeah, I think you wanted to say Somia is missing tomorrow due to injury, or missing both the games. Roshan. Should ISL or the new league bring back marquee signings like still playing for foreigners and starting them? Probably want to marquee signing in the squad. Rushabh, if the ISL is gone in the new league, who's going to have the money to sign marquee players? The clubs are supposed to pay 4 crores to the AIFF to keep it running. So we're talking about survival of the league. We're not talking about the league growing. And I think that's the point that I would make in this situation that we need to think about. Is EFL Championship at the same level quality-wise as second Bundesliga? Yeah, I think so. I think they are similar level. I would think that the fan base in the second Bundesliga would be more stronger than in the EFL, but otherwise, yeah, they would be similar levels. And I would add most probably La Liga 2 to that mix. Where is Joshua Pandit playing at the moment? Joshua, as far as I knew, was with AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands. Don't know where he's going in the new season. Important to know what is world class, because we often say our players are world class. We are nowhere near. Ishan, who's world class? Right? By the way, what do you think about Pep City? Do you think it will come back, or is something off which is there throughout the year to continue? Blue, they played a good Club World Cup, I would say. They should have beaten Al Hilal yesterday. They lost this game because they were not ready to ensure not to concede on counters. I think that's the big problem. And yeah, will be interesting to see. But I think Pep and the team have the capabilities to turn things around. I think Pep Guardiola is Pep Guardiola for that reason. And let's wait and see. Yes, Soumya autocorrect. Thanks, Roshan. Let's see what type of fraud things we're going to see news after tomorrow's meeting. After, let's see. Mourinho or Pep? Ishan, for me, 100% Pep because I like more attacking football than defensive football. With the OCI thing, in my opinion, India will eventually do it, but like everything else, will take too late. Sorry, Ochut says, with the OCI thing, in my opinion, India will eventually do it, but like everything else, will do too late, so late that the rest of the football world will have advanced more. Yeah, I mean, we could have done it 2 decades ago. Just think about it. Easily, we could have done it 2 decades ago. We could have helped ourselves. We would be most at different levels, but we didn't do it. So those are the realities of things in India and Indian sports. So yeah. Certain fan bases of ISL and league clubs are rejoiced by the fact of ISL under threat and vocally advocate to run a leagues. Some even I-League was not that badly done this season. Yuvraj, what do you what can one seriously tell these people? I know, everybody who's watching knows how badly the I-League was organized in the last 2 years. Mismanaged. And yeah. So therefore, for me, it's a shame. So yeah. Was surprised by the number of Indian diaspora footballers in MLS. Recently, a 16th diaspora player, forgot his name, made his debut. Yeah, Zorawa, there are quite a few. I mean, in North America, you will see the breakthrough of a lot of talent in the next 5 years of Indian and South Asian heritage, more than even in the UK. I can guarantee you that OCI will never come to Indian football. I would disagree, Shanlata, because I am certain it will happen one day. I'm certain it will happen one day. In my lifetime, it will happen. The question is when. Forgot about world class. National team doesn't have decent players, if I'll be honest. Sorry. Yeah, at the moment, that's the reality. Was the origin player concept always there in international football? If not, how did it come around? Ishan, origin players in some sort of form have always been around, especially between the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal and South America. So yes, it's not a new thing. Let me guess, those are East Bengal fans as well. East Bengal fans and some of the other I-League club fans, which are non-existent. Even we are lacking the players who can be considered Indian class from some years ago. Yeah, Blue, that is, that is my whole point. And I've been speaking to a lot of people and told them a few years back, I said, guys, the level is going down. I said last year, the ISL most probably will not continue if things don't change. Sadly, my concern is that a lot of people didn't want to listen or don't want to listen. So, yeah, that's the point. Someone tried to argue with me on X that I-League is quite good and I'm new to the conversation. Some fans are just ignorant. Roshan, they're ignorant. They are not willing to realize, believe in reality. I think that's a big, big problem at this moment. So therefore, for me, yeah. People who support I-League, have they really watched it in the last 3 years? If yes, they don't really know what is going on in international football at the station level. Even compare the ISL to the I-League today. Just join now. Can you give me a gist and your opinion about the new sports bill? Siddhant, nice on paper, has to be filled with life. I know diaspora is a word which is used. They have to find a solution to engaging on that. So therefore, very interesting to see what happens. I-League this year was as smooth as Venezuelan economy. Yuvraj, I think the Venezuelan economy was smoother than the I-League. Many countries even allow naturalized players, and here we don't even let our origin players play. Yeah, Ishan, what to say, right? I think for me, if I was a decent footballer, it would have been easier for me to play for Germany than for India, right? Let's take that example. So, what do you want to do? And Indian football fans, especially my club, Mohun Bagan, is going to keep on justifying the picture by Anwar Ali's fees. Simon, the sad part is where East Bengal and Mohun Bagan fans should be asking their clubs and their management questions, they justify their mismanagement. That's simple take, right? And it's, in my opinion, very, very difficult for us as Indian football to grow if we not want to wake up to reality. If you disagree with my opinion, I feel very glad and happy to believe that I hope it will soon be possible. Not even 1% expectation, but hope it happens. If you believe, I believe. Shanlata, I am the person who was the first one to fight for this cause. You know? So therefore, I will fight for this till I die. Right? So therefore, I will fight for diaspora players, for OCI, PRO, whatever you want to call it. I've done this, right? A lot of people claim a lot of things in the world and in Indian football, and I've done this, I've done that, and this and that. No, I can say that in 2001, when I started the whole discussion on this topic, nobody was thinking about it. Nobody, So, yeah. East Bengal fan pages are rejoicing ISL getting disbanded. According to them, ISL is fixed to prevent East Bengal from winning it. So now East Bengal fans have justified the Anwar Ali signing. East Bengal fans have justified, ask questions to your own management is my only point to every East Bengal FC fan. Simple. It is mismanagement of the club over the last 20 years, 20 plus years, why they've not won since the NFL days. As sad as it is. Maybe in the early 2010s, Trevor James Morgan should have won it. I do believe Trevor, should have won it, but they didn't. OCI will happen, but only when Pakistan Bangladesh will be playing FIFA World Cup. No, Zorawar, I think it depends a lot on the Olympic bid. I think there will be forced changes, as I've said multiple times. Some guys are saying I-League was real league. Wow, professionalism. Blue, it is the lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, being delusional, Delulu, La La Land. I don't know what I want to call that. That's where a lot of fans live, right? They don't want, and it's not an Indian football only phenomenon. It's a global football phenomenon. A lot of fan bases think that they are, the key, the right, and all that stuff. It doesn't work. Yeah, from people who have unrealistic plans, then they end up not doing their, yeah. That's the reality of the last 3 years. What led to Pogba's recent signing? He has had such good potential. What led to his downfall? Ego issues. No, that doping case, right? That led to his downfall. Do you think I-League 2 and 3 should be merged as one league to have more matches? No, Roshan. I think I-League 2 is of a higher standard than I-League 3. I-League 3 needs to be turned into a league. I think the I-League 2 is a decent concept, and yeah. Abhishek Singh is getting that insane contract from Mons Williams for what exactly? I wasn't able to watch him play in ISL last season. Is he really good? Hannibal, he has to prove it. He played decent, but in the match that I watched him, Javier Hernandez cooked him. I watched Punjab FC against Jamshedpur FC. So therefore, for me, player with potential, yeah. Are we always going to be in the loop of revamp, new structure, corrupting the structure, and then disbanding the structure? I hope not, but it could be Angry Birds. And according to Ismail fans, Nita Ambani's are conspiring as Ismail favors Molvania. Brilliant. Right. Paul Boga was a class in his Juventus days, even a beast for representing the French national team. Yeah. He was. Is there any country with a footballing fan base apart from India who prefer to push matter of club football versus national football? England, maybe. England has been, it has been in England a topic. Yeah, maybe in Scotland, Rangers and Celtic, maybe even that. Yeah. So there are countries around the world, yeah. Nowadays, these more fan pages have a chairperson in the so-called savior of Indian football. So they're all wrong. So therefore, again, Yeah, different level. And we need to talk about that, in my opinion, that these people are not supporting Indian football, but rather than being savior, destroying Indian football in its core. How good was Michael Chopra? I know because of his Indian origin, he was a quality player for Standards. Listen, he's a Premier League striker. He's a top Premier League, not a top Premier League striker, but he's a striker who is top between the bottom half of the Premier League and top half of the Championship. And that is of a level that we've not had. I would have said Michael Chopra in his prime was better than Hamza Chaudhary. The so-called savior of Indian football said in a live stream that he's being imagined better than Inter Miami. And that says it everything. That only an idiot would compare these two. An ignorant person would compare these two. What David Beckham and people have built at Inter Miami, respect. What people have done at East Bengal over the last 2 decades, shameful. Period. Is this means Ose can represent India very soon? Nick Wick? No. We have to wait. So that's the hope, but we're not there yet. We will have to wait and see. The fan pages and YouTubers, sorry to say, doesn't deserve any interaction. Bro, that's what I've been saying. That's why, guys, be careful what you interact with, what you give oxygen with your views, your watching, you know. And therefore, for me, yeah, maybe people. That's why I guess others don't like me, because I'm very, very open and very, very clear what I think about these things. Denny Bath is a Premier League level defender for India. Zonawar is a Champions League defender for us. Like, sir, you will present facts every day, but they will get more views with agenda. Sadly, Blue very, very perfectly said. With agenda, with useless transfer discussions where there is no transfer talk at all going on, what am I going to say? So, yeah. Your thoughts about the U15 club team defeating Switzerland women's national team 7-1. I watched the highlights. If that is what I should have believed, then the women's team was just too poor. Ochut, there is a physical aspect to it. Even a Swiss under 15 team, and those boys want to become pros. I don't know how serious the women's team took the game. I think that's also a thing because they were going along, are getting ready for the UEFA Women's Euros starting this week. So that's, yeah. How well handball project is going? Selvin, we're getting there. As always, it takes a little bit of longer time. It's a challenge, but we're working on things. So hopefully, yeah, it's gonna get going hopefully soon. We're working on certain things, but whenever there is something to announce, I will surely announce it on my social medias. Hasn't Daniva played Premier League for Wolves and Stoke City? He's played for Wolves, not for Stoke City, if I'm right. Do you think the Saudi Pro League really belongs to tier of top 5 or something? No. I mean, how is it? Always remember, a knockout competition result is not going to be the same as a league result. Therefore, I felt the new Champions League was actually better than the old Champions League because you force teams to play against each other more proper, and there was a league table to it. So therefore, for me, those things have to be considered. And therefore, I would clearly say that that the Saudi Pro League is not even top 10 in the world. Sorry, not even close. Right, 1 hour, 24 minutes on this 1st of July. Yeah, it's the second half of the year. Who would have thought that? Difficult first half of the year in Indian football, I would guess. Been speaking a lot about things. Once more, the reminder, like, share, and subscribe. 28 likes so far. Thank you very much. Let others also be part of our conversations if you share it. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel and help me grow it a little further. We still stand at 2,731 today. Thanks a lot for everyone who's following, for your support. And again, reminder, do watch the short videos that I try and make on a daily basis. And did something on Lalit Modi. Again, own experiences from 2 decades ago. I think there's some insights that I try and bring in those short videos. And a lot of questions that I seem to be getting around these lives are stuff that I'm doing in those short videos. There are 4.5, 5, 6 minutes. Do watch them. The more you guys watch them, the more it is likely that people are going to be able to see them and the channel grows. Thanks as always for your support. Who's the highest achieving Indian origin player ever? I got to know about Vikash. I had no idea about him earlier. Yeah, Vikash Dovaso, certainly. Vikash is the highest. I mean, he played a FIFA World Cup final, played for AC Milan, played for Paris Saint-Germain. There is no one that can get to that level. Which is the most competitive knockout football or league football? Simon, I'm very difficult at these comparisons. Some will say Premier League. I would say Bundesliga. Someone will say La Liga. And knockout of surely the UEFA Champions League. With all the bad news, the CFL being played is at least good for many players. Otherwise, all have to play Cape. They will always anyway have to do it. No, they don't. Achut, the problem is that these players are not humble enough to live with small money. No? They want big money. They see the money in the ISL. They're not going to get it in the CFL, and then they start playing Cape. Right? Because they don't know what their level of football is. Your opinion regarding Ivan Vukovic saying Indian football will not develop even with Pep. Zoravar, I spoke about it earlier. I really don't care about that statement. We don't know if what Pep could do, what Mourinho could do. So, yeah, just ignore such statements. Blue says today I saw a clip of Shruti Ray interview where he criticized the Indian audience for being masala and cheapness hungry. He said it for cinema. It looks like he was right if we compare sports today. Blue, yeah, I think it was, I think he's right. And if you want to generalize it for society, right? So from that perspective, he's right. Do we have any better? Was it like better than even Jan Danda, or is it the bar and also clear for us? At the moment, Jan, Danny would be the top benchmark. But if you look at the past, Vikash Tovaso, if you want to add Aaron Winter, former Dutch international, those guys would be the bar. So one thing as a fan, which I feel terrible, is pitch qualities for AIFF leagues. Players, especially foreigners, get injured in just a game due to the terrible unchecked pitches. Yuvraj, that's a reality in most parts of the world. So therefore, yes, even if you would check the pitch, improve the pitch, I think the players need to adjust. I realize also that a lot of players wear wrong boots to the grounds, even foreigners. Wear the right boots. Very big problem. I saw some people complaining streaming fee for CFL. Roshan, the problem is people want everything for free. Indian football fans would want, I don't even know if we're talking 80, 90, maybe 95% of fans want everything for free. Deserved at the doorstep. People are saying, hey, listen, I can't find the schedule of this, that. Indian football fans don't want to make an effort to support Indian football. Simply. If SSDN doesn't want to do it anymore, who's going to do it? That's the problem. Whatever FSL gave that of having top 6 playoff games along with this shield deserves a raise. We as fan base are not used to the league format. We like knockouts more than league shields. Ishan, I don't know. I don't agree to that because people who follow European football actually follow leagues. So therefore, for me, it doesn't fully work, that logic. By the way, Mohun Reserves lost against Police AC in Calcutta Football League. Fans were chanting, they aren't complaining about due development not being done. Yeah, but Zoravar, that's the problem, right? Their success, fans of the Kolkata Giants are glory hunters. Sorry, that's a fact. And yeah, sorry. It's a failure of the system. All these unregistered tournaments across India, this gives money, which the bottom of the pyramid is here to give. Also, what will the players do for the rest of the year? Uchut, no. Do you have at the bottom of the pyramid money in other parts of the world? You play for fun. That's the problem. The bottom of the pyramid earning money in the Indian system, which doesn't generate money, doesn't work. That's the problem. Society, yes, but considering the current situation, I think we really have a problem. I'm fed up with the rape cases, all accidents, and people are caring more about doing politics than anything. Look, very, very well said. That's India's problem, right? In the last Indian men's national team match, I saw players slipping Why don't they wear proper studs? These were basics taught to us in the 90s. Ochud, because they look at lifestyle boots rather than the right studs. I have had conversations with Indian national team players who don't understand how good, you know. So, yeah. If there is an introduction of player format for promotion relegation with ISL, which format would you want, German or English format? Both have their advantages and disadvantages, but I'm again, like you, Roshan, I'm more German in this, so I would rather pick the German one. What about Dylan Markandi, Edwin Kubzar, Manpreet Sara? Are they national? Of course, they are. All of them are international level players for us. Gute Nacht's a bit of busy week here for me, but hope to catch a lot soon. Thanks, Simon, and good night to you, Raj, as well. And I also, yeah, more than 90 minutes, slowly come to an end with this. Times, as I continue to say, are not easy in Indian football, but I think we need to keep our heads high. According to Mono Supergiant fans, Goenka will not get anything from an academy, so it's doing. Doesn't make sense if he does not choosing cross without it. Stupid logic. Even amateur like me used to choose studs depending on my knee condition and playing surface. They don't do it Ocho these days. Not to forget Omid Singh, Brandon Killa, Sai Sajdev, Arjun Pereira, Perez, Lalit diaspora player. So, Robert, I'm not going to go into that transfer market discussion at this time. You can add Harpreet Gotra to the discussion as well. There are other players as well. I come to an end of this live on this 1st of July. It's a very hot 1st of July here in Germany. I think Roshan will agree to that. Keep on supporting. Let's see what happens tomorrow in the AIFF. Really looking forward to if anything happens. And on the other things, we will have to wait and watch. Thanks again for joining. Good night, Blue. Good night, Zoravar. Good night, Nishan. Good night, everybody else. And once more, the reminder, please like this video. Share it with others, even those who maybe watched it afterwards and need your support. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back very soon. So now, Chaudhary signing off. Good night.